Book Club, where we highlight Asian and Asian American authors. We are your hosts,
Jamae and Sabangan.
And I'm Stephen Park. And today we bring you our first ever book of Asian Book Club. How are you doing, Jamae?
I'm doing all right. I mentioned last time on our first episode that I was a literature teacher and that I'm no longer one.
Mm-hmm.
So what's gotten me excited this week is that I'm making the transition.
Yeah. So what hasn't gotten me excited is there's this news report. Who's that guy from Bridgerton?
Oh, you know the name.
What's his name? I don't know the name.
Oh, Reggie Jean Page.
I know his six-pack. I don't know the name.
Woo!
So it is not okay. So Reggie Jean Page this week was scientifically identified as, what was it, like the perfect male or like the perfect body or something?
Yes, because of symmetry, because of facial features.
Which is like, that's just not okay. Like, before, we can make the argument of some people like him, whatever your preferences are, and some people don't. But now there's science. Like, you can't use science against us. Like, how are we supposed to fight science and say that we have a chance against this dude who is scientifically perfect?
But also there are some people who don't even believe in science. So
right. So I'm either gonna like his body or I'm gonna fall off the edge of the earth. It's just not fair.
Fair to whom?
To us normal looking men who aren't scientifically deemed as the perfect body.
But to each their own, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, like, whoever doesn't like Reggie Jean Page might like whoever else.
But that's exactly it. That was the original theme. But when science says that he has the perfect body and it is in science, it's no longer, okay, you can choose your own. It's like, he's deemed as the perfect... Anyways, just had to get that off my chest. But now we'll kind of, with that transition, let's kind of talk about our first book. So, Jamae, you're the one that chose the first book. So
I did.
Which book did we choose?
The book that we chose to read through first is called I Was Their American Dream by Malaka Gharib. It's, like we hinted last time, it's a graphic memoir, and it relates to the experience of immigrants through the eyes of first-generation Asian American.
Mm-hmm. But before we do that, let's go into our recommendation for the week.
Our recommendation for the week is an online and a brick and mortar bookstore called Femme Books. And this is run by an Asian American woman who is also a veteran named Vanessa. Although their brick and mortar is based in Florida, they are most known for their online bookstore, FemmeFireBooks.com, which is an indie bookstore celebrating diversity in literature.
Yep. And so if you have the chance, obviously we try to support not only local, but understanding where our money goes into. So when we could put money back into those people that we want to see grow and expand, then I think these are great opportunities to do so.
Yeah, support your local Asian American
or BIPOC
businesses.
A lot of people that deserve to be supported. Maybe not the major corporations that already have a lot of money that may deliver in 2 days or next day shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe kind of expanding how we put our money so that we can grow our cultures and our worlds kind of together.
Yeah, make sure that we're supporting our own economy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so back to the book. So let's talk about kind of what the author wants us to see. So what's on the cover?
On the cover, in the back, it says, and I'm going to read this verbatim, Malaka Gharib had some figuring out to do. And one character is drawn that says, "What are you?" And her thoughts are, "When people ask me this question, I found it hard to answer. Well, I'm Egyptian Filipino. I grew up with my Filipino family here in Cerritos. I eat rice every day, and I went to Catholic school. But my dad is Muslim and lives in Egypt. I spend my summers with him. I can understand Tagalog and Arabic. Esaya, kumusta ka? How are you in Arabic and Tagalog, respectively? So I guess both. Well, I kind of feel more Filipino because that's who I spent more time with. And the character who she was speaking to says, "That's cool. I guess I'm just regular old Filipino."
Awesome. And just a little background from the same city, so huge shout out. But a little bit more about Malaka Gharib. Also, we may say some names wrong, but that's how we heard it as her own self-intro, so that's what we're going to stick it with. Jamae, one more time.
Malaka Gharib.
There you go. Okay, so on her own page, she describes herself as a journalist, a cartoonist, and a graphic novelist. She works as an editor at NPR, and you can find her works published in NPR, Los Angeles Times, Catapult, The Seventh Wave magazine, The Nib, Savior magazine, The Believer magazine, and The New Yorker. She's also been published in Washington Post and New York Times. And if you wanted to find more information about her, it's malakagharib.com. Also, she just released a book last year that's a follow-up in September, and it is called It Won't Always Be Like This. So what are our predictions for the book? We haven't really dove into it yet.
Yeah, so knowing what it's about, a lot of it's going to resonate with me, and it's going to relate to my background as a third culture kid. I'm excited about it. I love memoirs, like as I said in the first episode, but I also love graphic novels, comics, manga, manhwa. It's my jam. I love illustrations. Yeah,
and I just finished Mouse, which I feel like a lot of people have seen, and that's been I haven't really read for a while until I hit that book, so it was kind of fun going to a graphic novel, and it really got me back into like the groove of things. But not only that, like I said, I grew up in the same city that she apparently grew up in, which I'm just finding out. But Cerritos is actually like it's not a massive city, but it has a lot of Asian American culture within Cerritos. Like there's different areas where you'll find a lot of Filipinos, different areas where you find Koreans, Indians, Chinese. Like there's a massive expansion of people there. So I'm kind of curious what her take was. I'm sure it's not all going to be based in Cerritos, but I'm like kind of curious how other people see this like small lens that I kind of grew up in.
Absolutely. Another thing that has piqued my interest is, as a first generation Asian American myself, and knowing what my parents have gone through, I imagine that her experience and my experience, as well as probably Steven's, I'm not going to speak for him, but I think that our experiences are very similar in that there is, not only was in the past, but there is a lot of pressure to succeed as our parents' offspring, because they brought us to this wonderful country of opportunity, which is alluded to based directly from the title, I Was Their American Dream. And I feel like personally I am still my parents' American dream.
And not gonna lie, I kind of peeked into the book a little bit, and like the first page pretty much is like they expected us to do better than them. So
absolutely.
All right, we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna kind of dive into the book, give us a little bit of time, and we're gonna do a little bit of reading. Our goal is to get through the first 4 chapters. I can't remember what page it gets up to. I think it's like page 60 or something. It's in there. I don't think there was like a huge table of contents either, but first 4 chapters, it's about half the book, and then we'll finish it up on the follow-up episode, which is the last 4 chapters, and then we'll kind of have a discussion together.
Yes, so chapter 1 through 4, which ends on page 82, and read along with us if you'd like to. You don't have to. We can be your cliff notes for you. But if you want to read along with us, and if you want to share your thoughts along the way while you're reading along and want to be featured in our next episode, our email is asianbookclubpod@gmail.com. Again, that's Asian asianbookclubpod, Pod, at gmail.com. We can't wait to hear what you thought.
Instagram?
Asian Book Club Pod.
Twitter? We don't do Twitter. All right.
Bye.
Bye.